Hello YouTube and welcome to part 6 of our Realism Overhaul series. Let's resume our game. So if we remember from last time, we were building a new version of the Charlie B that we planned to upgrade. We were going to do that with these, not these upgrades, but these upgrades that were coming down the line. So let's go ahead and work to completion of these events. Alright, let's take a look at the wonders that early avionics gives us. A Geiger counter, micrometeorite detector, and another Geiger counter. So we only need 2 of these. The reason I have multiple of these is because I have a few mods installed that duplicate some of the original science equipments. So I like going with the new ones. So we're definitely going to pick this up, and this one. And this new guidance unit, the 1 meter one, lets us control more, up to 45 tons. I think the previous was 20 tons for less the weight. So this is definitely going to be a winner. Might hold off on these. This X-ray detector does some of the science experiments that these things do, I think. Oh, cancel. I wish there was a way that I could scroll down and see in this list what else it does, but I haven't been able to figure out how to do that from this screen. Take a look at the Juno nose fairing. I don't know if it allows us to control anything. I haven't used this before, but for now I'll stick with what I know. Alright, from here we can go ahead and edit this vehicle. Okay, let's take a look at what this new avionics can give us. We'll take a note of our total delta V before we make any changes. 9929 should be an easy number to remember. And we'll notice that this old guidance unit allowed control up to 20 tons, while this new one is 45. So our total weight of this vessel is actually 32 tons. I think I have a hidden guidance unit down here. So we'll actually be able to remove a whole extra unit. So we're going to go from 1.2 tons down to 0.35, so that should really help us out. We'll start by removing this guy up here and replace him with the upgraded guidance unit. Already we can see an improvement of about 60 meters per second. And the fact that we're removing this one entirely, I wonder if I can rip it out through the fairing. Oh, I can. That's awesome. All right, now almost 1,100 meters per, or not 1,100, but 10,100. Now we are going to want to add those new science units, so let's grab those. Here we are, the micrometeorite detector and the Geiger counter. And that really doesn't kill us too much with our delta V budget. Everything looks lined up. So we'll put these fairings back on. I guess I should put them both back on. And we'll call this, I think we didn't use a Charlie D. We'll actually see if it yells at us when we try to save that. Nope. We did use the C that had the retro thrusters that we didn't use. If anyone was confused by that design, I was listening to myself in the previous recordings and I maybe didn't explain it too well, but if I had launched this and was able to get to like 110, 120 kilometers up and actually get into an orbit there where coming back around I would skim through the atmosphere, the fact that I was spin stabilized means when I was on the other side of the Earth I could fire those retro rockets and bump up my perigee now above the Earth's atmosphere, but turns out this one will get high enough we don't need to worry about doing that. I think that's all the changes that we need. Sometimes some of these get some upgrades with other technology, so yeah, you see this, I don't think this was available before. This bumps our ISP, so sounds like a no-brainer. I wonder if it increases the weight at all. I can't really tell, but let's see what happens. Now we do want to remix our fuel balance. We can see we actually lost delta V with that. Alright, that's a lot higher, and we probably have increased reliability with this. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. We're only running for 1 minute 52 seconds. So we can extend this a little bit. 204, what did we say it was? 210. Might be worth making the base a little bit wider. maybe 2.2. Then we can shorten it back down. There we go, 2 minutes 10 seconds. Now we're at 10,300 meters per second at delta V. I wonder if this engine has an upgrade as well. Take those fairings off. Alright, none of these are unlocked yet. And I'm pretty sure that the Airbys don't have any more configurations to unlock. We'll put these fairings back on. And now that we've ripped this all apart, we should double check our staging again. We'll fire off our main engine, which is not clipping into the ground, followed by releasing our clamps. And whenever these guys separate, we'll fire our separation motors. Afterwards, we'll fire our HA-10. Before any of this happens, though, we're going to want to release these. So we'll put that down here. Then we'll spin stabilize, fire our 4 aerobie engines, and then, okay, this all looks right. So this is our new Charlie D. It's only going to take 15 hours to make these changes. They can apparently rip in these fairings, rip this part out, replace that pretty easily. This is fairly modular design. Apparently replace the engine as well. Maybe it's just some lighter components, who knows. Alright, time to work to completion. Now it says it's going to take 2 days. I'm not sure why it changed. Sounding rocket medium. If we get to orbit, we're going to be doing this. Sounding rocket high. I have a feeling that we could do this with this craft. With the extra delta V that we got, this should be pretty easy, I think. If not, that'll be the mission for the day. We're not going to do any of these lunar missions. This might be interesting. But I don't think we have a parachute, so we'll need to see what can really or not a parachute. I don't think we have any heat shields, so I need to see what could actually withstand re-entry speeds like this. Now, I'm fairly confident that this design could make it into a polar orbit. So what we're going to keep an eye on is this inclination right here. We're going to start by heading slightly west, north-northwest, so we'll go ahead and plug that in. We'll do 350 degrees and pitch up. We're going to see this inclination number rise. When it gets to 90, we'll just need to make sure that this is set back to 0. Or we'll be maybe in orbital prograde by then. We'll see what happens. Put on our metrics. If I can learn to click on stuff. Alright, here we go. Immediately we get some new science. Micrometeorites in the atmosphere? I'm surprised that's something that we need to worry about. I got up last night and I watched the launch of the latest SpaceX launch. I'm trying to remember what satellite it was. It was something 14, but they were launching a communication satellite into either geosynchronous or geostationary orbit. I'm not sure which one. I know that they were doing a geosynchronous orbit insertion, and the rocket itself was going to do the rest. But I noticed that they didn't deploy their fairings until their last stage was burning. So I wonder what speeds. I guess I can actually go back and look at the video and see what speeds they did that at. We can look at the speed and the altitude, and then from that we actually should be able to compute the dynamic pressure. Or we just get a vessel. We don't necessarily have to compute it. We can just play with it in this game if we don't know the math and get a craft that high going that fast and see what it says. But I bet it was pretty low. Now, I was kind of late on my gravity turns, so I'm kind of forcing it to pitch down right now. I'm on surface prograde, surface velocity prograde, but I'm actually telling it go down another 5 degrees to kind of force it to pitch over. You can see this inclination rising. We're at 45 degrees now, so that's directly northeast, and it's rising higher, so it was this way before. I wonder what kind of apoapsis we're going to get with all this extra delta V. I'm kind of excited about it, not going to lie. Now would probably be a good time to deploy the fairings. Ooh, almost hit our aircraft. I keep saying aircraft. Rocket. Almost hit our rocket. Get these guys. I don't know why it reset. Go ahead and switch. Well, I don't want to switch to orbital prograde yet because I want this inclination to be closer to 90. But I probably do want to be going a little bit lower. Pitch this over again. Whoops, zoomed in too far. I'm trying to activate my antenna. This guy keeps popping up. Actually, orbital prograde would actually be higher than what I'm at now. I do need this probably to get higher. I'm so excited about all my extra delta V, and I'm not getting too much higher than I was before. However, my time to apoapsis is still pretty high, so that's good. Might actually be alright. This is getting closer to 160, which is where I wanted it before. I think other than this little maneuver right here, we're doing pretty good. Hey, we're in space. Alright, this is probably close enough to 90 degrees. Wait for this to burn out. Then I'll go horizontal velocity plus. Actually, no. What I want is want to point due north. Alright, turn on RCS, north, no pitch, execute this. Reorient the rocket. Collect more science. Spin stabilize. Now. Fire off these guys. Even if for some reason we crash back to Earth, we've got a lot of science on this one. So I'm happy about that. I think we started off around 9 science. Now we have 36 science. Once this transmits, we'll have, I think, close to 40. Yeah, oh, 40.4. There you go. Alright, now we're starting to do descend. But we'll notice that our pitch is increasing. It was at 0 when we launched. It's up maybe 3 degrees now. I think there's a number over here that I could add that would actually tell me my pitch. We always seem to pick up a larger wobble when we separate. I wonder why that is. We're still falling, but I think our rate of descent is flatlining. Now it's coming back up. So I think we'll be clear of actually skimming through the atmosphere. That's what we want to avoid. Yep, we should be good. See, our periapsis is now above there. We actually didn't get to that 2.2 million meters that we needed. It's kind of disappointing. Did recover our engine, that's good. And we did get the sounding rocket contract, of course. So now we can focus on trying to use this guy to collect as much science as possible. Oftentimes it's easier to do that in the map view. You can see our inclination. That's pretty darn close to a polar orbit, especially for not being able to control our last stage, but we did point it just north, so it should be close. It was pretty close before then. So I'm going to open up X Science. Actually need to configure the buttons. This changes per mode that you're in, and I haven't configured it in map mode, so we've got to do that now. Gonna look for X Science. There we go. Now we can pull this up. Now I think what we're looking for is micrometeorite. Let's see. This is such interesting. In space, landed, splashed down. If we could splash this down in the ocean, we can collect some science. And high over Earth, we won't get that. So what was the other one? Radiation? Geiger? Whoops, can't spell. Let's see what it says it is over here. If we can actually click on it. All right, let's got it. Log radiation. So why doesn't it come up when I type radiation? We can just scan through these. Atmospheric pressure. I really care about Earth and space. Geiger, that's what it is. Alright, so these are the biomes we still need to unlock with this guy. Poles, tropics, deserts, mountains, and highlands. So I wonder where we're going to get these. Poles obviously is up north. We would need to orbit a few times to get under maybe the Rocky Mountains. I wonder if one orbit is enough. Right now we left Florida and it's already rotated some under us, so we'll see what happens after an orbit. Start spam clicking on this. Already got this one. No comms device on this vessel. Well, there is comms, but I think we're at a location where we actually can't see anything. So, sounds like something we're going to have to do is set up a satellite network. That way these lower satellites can actually pick stuff up. But to do that, we're going to need solar panels. And to get solar panels, we're going to need to unlock more science. So we'll collect what we can on that and then see what else we can unlock. We're going to wait to transmit these till we're in range of a receiver. Here we go. And for some reason, I lost those screens. I wish there was an easy way to bring those back. I don't think it's this one. There's probably a good mod that you either need temperature. There we go. Ah, I'm over the water again. Oh, I just wanted to review the data, that's why. If there's a good mod that lets me do these things from a list, that would be great. I think this one I need to send. And that guy I need to send. Oh, I thought I did. I do have this mod, and I kind of hope to do it for me because I can see science right here. So if I've already clicked the science, I think I can move science to something that has storage. This avionics unit might not, but others do. But I was hoping that I could actually use this to, like, say, see, it's right now it's trying to transfer. I wish I could say, run this science experiment. Do something with this window. But this is just for transferring. So if you know of a mod that lets me run my science experiments, that would be great. See, this would be a great place to have it. You have hatches, solar panels, antennas, which is deployed, and lights. Why not science equipment? Is there a setting I can turn on? This tells me what mods I'm running. So, if you want to see all the mods that I'm running, instead of me having to list it all, you can take a look right here and pause the video and see everything that I'm running. Like, I just have Kerbal operating system installed. I haven't used it yet. Apparently it installs 2 different modes. I don't know, mods. I don't know what that's about. Here it says I have 2 of these, probably from different plugins, bringing in different dependencies. You can put it in this toolbar. That's what that does. If this gets too cluttered, one nice thing is if your toolbar gets cluttered here, and eventually it'll be down here in 1.1, whenever all this works in 1.1, then you can use this smaller toolbar, which lets you drag it around, and a lot of mods support the Blizzy's toolbar. So if you do that, it removes it from here. If you have too many, you actually have to start scrolling on either end, and it's a big pain. But I don't see a way to do what I wanted with my science equipment. Oh well. I'm going to close the flight recorder, so it's not doing much for us now. We still need highlands, mountain, desert, and tropics, so let's see what's next. There's highlands. The mountains and the deserts I'll probably try to get over in the US. I have a feeling I'll pass over this area, which might work. And here's that bug again where my science doesn't count. So I need to do it again. It's the biggest pain. Ooh, apparently there's maybe the Himalayas? Is that what I'm over? It's too dark, I can't see. I can actually keep this up, keep an eye on my battery levels. See what kind of contracts I have. Maybe I have a science from space. Sometimes I get those and you can just do them while you're in here. Alright, I'm going to go over Antarctica. And then we're going to cross over North America. See, maybe we get tropics or desert. Should at least get desert. There's desert like right there. Well, north of there. Pretty sure that's the desert. New Mexico, Arizona, nothing. It says this is grasslands. I don't believe it. Oh, there it is. Desert. Great. Now that I'm in the grasslands, I hope this actually sends. It did. Good. So all that's left is the tropics, and we need to get high over Earth. I wonder, tropics, space. Yeah. Just trying to see if there's anything else that we needed from there. Now, there is a crew report, but we don't have that yet. And then we could actually see all experiments. This will give us things that we don't even have the science equipment for. We could see orbital telescope, gravity scan, multispectral analysis, all these things. Station science, early, I don't know what station science is. And why is there an early station science and not a later station science? But looks like it's worth a fair amount, 100 points, 135 points here, so wouldn't mind getting some station science. LEM status, don't know what that is either, but I'm sure we'll find out eventually. All that's left now is the tropics, which we're not going to find up here. Might we go over Hawaii? No, Hawaii's way over here. Pretty sure we're going to run out of electric charge before we can get anything from the tropics. So, but hey, how much science did we get? Let's take a look. We're at 63 science, so I'd call this a great success. We didn't unlock everything, but we got a good amount. And since we're at about 25 minutes, I'm going to end this episode here. Next, we'll look at unlocking some science with the science that we acquired, but until then, I'll see you next time.